What's up? My name's Sam Taggart, and I'm the founder of D2D Experts, and we host a mastermind called the Xperts Circle, where for the last 8 years, we've trained hundreds of owners on how to scale their business. And the problem is like people run a business, but then their life goes to crap. And if you're somebody that's like a sales rep, business owner, a manager that feels so much stress and anxiety, and you've gone through divorce, and you've gone through depression, and you've gone through financial ups and downs, and you're dealing with like, man, I might be crushing it in business, but I'm just not happy. I've been there. Like, I went through a divorce. I made all the money and then lost the money. I made poor decisions, and I've had to heal childhood trauma, and I've had to heal addiction, and I've had to heal. And it's like, okay, I could run a business and like, look at me in my private jet, and like, for what? And so if you're somebody that's like can resonate with that for a second, this video is for you. So I really want you to pay attention, because we're gonna go through 5 simple hacks to create more mindfulness in your business. But mindfulness, not just in your business, but in yourself. Because I watch cultures of just like grind and just power through and just work your ass off. If you're not hustling, you're dying. And I'm like, yes, there's the warrior side of every sales rep and every business owner. But what about the lover? What about the king? The king's sitting on a throne. He's living life. He's got an empire, and he's not sitting there in the war every time. What about the guy that wants to have like meaningful connection, not just like hammer, nail, hit, yes, kill, next thing? What I'm getting at is, if you don't take a second to self-reflect on how do I become more mindful, you're missing it. So our mastermind of CEOs, we have about 100 members. We had about 50 show up to our North Carolina mastermind, where this event specifically was focused on mindfulness. Now, granted, we have a finance one, marketing one, influence one, all sorts of different topics that are deep dives is what they call. If you're somebody, one, that's like, I need a community of badass CEOs, like for sure, click the link, schedule a call, learn about our league and how we run that and what that looks like. We're taking a bunch of them to Croatia this year. We've been to Tahiti, Switzerland, Guatemala, all over the world. We host dope experiences. And what's really unique is this one, everybody voted on mindfulness. So I broke this event into 5 categories. The first one was body, breath, you have nutrition, energy, and you have simple spirituality. So I think that kind of is an interesting topic, because I think there's a difference between religion and spirituality. So I brought in master speakers from all over the country to come in and help. And so let's start with body. We brought in this guy that for 22 years had been training in yoga. Joe came in as 20 years in yoga and said, the definition of mindfulness is trying something for the first time. So imagine eating macaroni and cheese for the first time. Imagine picking up your kid and giving him a hug for the first time. How mindful would you be, instead of like, oh yeah, I've hugged you every night, goodbye, see you, good night, put you to bed, versus this is the first time I get to put my kid to bed. How much more mindful are you? And I loved that. So we did some yoga and we said, okay, let's get in touch with our body, because what's so cool about yoga is it tests your flexibility, which I think is in correlation to business, your ability to let go of control. It's in correlation to your adaptability. So finding those nooks and crannies of your body that maybe you've never really explored is a piece of mindfulness. But then on top of that, I said, what about the intuition that goes with this? So we went on a nice little walk and hike, and we did phases of this. So as you can see right here, I put a blindfold on everybody to say, okay, like let's say we hiked and sensed the aura, because running a business, running sales, closing deals, that kind of stuff has everything to do with intuition. So it has everything to do with, can I close my eyes and sense what is needed in this moment? And so taking away the sense of sight, I wish I could have taken the sense of hearing, a sense of feeling, like all those things have to do with how we navigate our lives. Second, our breath. Dee, my wife, is a certified breathwork facilitator, and we've now facilitated dozens of different experiences, and we do what's called holotropic breathwork. And what most people have never really set themselves into is what we call parasympathetic state. Dee, through over-oxygenating our bodies, about 10 minutes of strong breathing, it forces you into a deeper state of consciousness. Now, most people have never even been there. So what happens for the first time, a lot of these people, they freak out. They're like, oh my gosh, my hands are tingling. And it is a very spiritual experience to connect with source, connect with self, connect with body, connect with past traumas. It's a very healing process. So go there, go YouTube, holotropic breathwork, and go try it.
Start breathing with me in the stomach, up the chest, out the mouth. Thanking your mind for its intellect, thanking your heart for its spiritual knowledge and well-being, thanking your body for giving you and having all the functions and everything flow beautifully without even having to think about it. And thanking your spirit for its wisdom and its love and its light.
The next one is nutrition. Tracy and Shai, who are both in our mastermind, running a very successful roofing business out of San Diego, came in and talked about how they did their biohacking.
We're not biohackers by any means. We just believe in a healthy lifestyle. So the common day term to biohacking is DIY biology. So that's really what it is. And it's a lot of people go to different lengths. Some people are just believing in, get good sleep, drink water, and eat healthy. And then there's the extremist of injecting cells into your body and hyperbaric chambers and everything in between.
I would say I first got started about 20 years ago. I was diagnosed with cervical cancer, and it was before I met Shai. And I was working, and this woman that was one of my boss's clients took me in, and she was growing her own food, and they grounded their house, which is, does anyone know what grounding your house is? Taking the dirt, like static electricity out of your house. A lot of athletes in Europe and London, around the world will do that. It's like amazing for your sleep and overall well-being.
The next one is spirituality. Brian Hall is a spiritual coach. He coaches guys like Elon Musk, Brett Favre. And I said, everybody is kind of getting this disconnect around Christ, God, what they are as a religion, what they are. But it's like everybody has a spirit. Everybody has a connection to God. Everybody in here knows that there's a higher power. And like at the end of the day, we were jaded, or we were manipulated, or we had a bad experience at church, or whatever. We start to like have an ego that disconnects us. But like now you're sitting on the sideline, the greatest player. It'd be like, Michael Jordan, you don't play, you go sit down, and we're going to win this game without you. It's like, no, Michael Jordan, you get in. That's God. It's like, God, we need you in the game. And as a business owner, as a husband, as a father, if you're excluding God out of your life, like, shame on you. And there's probably some repair you need to make, some repentance, some place in your life that maybe could help. So it was really, really fun to hear from Brian. And then the last was energy. We bring in Chelsea Ray, who her husband and her have Genius Frequency, which is a practice of energy work, chiropractic combination. And as you watch this demonstration and hear her talk, what we don't realize is the sphere of energy around us. And when you do and work on different chakras or different blockages or different portals that you're like, oh my gosh, I did not realize that I've neglected this. All of a sudden it can release and let go, and the tension and what you're holding on to.
I'm Chelsea Ray. Like Sam said, my husband and I have a practice and a business here in Asheville, and he is in Cabo right now. Normally we'd be together in Mexico giving sessions to entrepreneurs who want to live like who are living heart-led businesses. And that's kind of what we do. We travel around the world and do this. However, I stopped traveling because I am 7 months pregnant. And so I happened to be home, and this all happened to work out. And I'm so happy to be here. I'm so glad that this worked. I'm going to lead you, as a beginning, through a few types of breathing. You don't have to try to breathe deep at all. Just allow your breath, like your body will breathe you. Isn't it amazing that we never have to try to breathe? Like our body won't stop until it does one day. So I'm going to lead you through some different styles of breath, and what to look for is what type of breathing gives you the most breath naturally. So you can close into your eyes if you want. You can keep them open if you want. And just be happy in your body, find your body for a second here. And on your next natural inhale, on your own rhythm, allow your next breath to be in the nose, out the mouth. A couple more of these. Out the mouth. Last one. Great. That's number one. Here's number two, in the mouth. Out the mouth. Couple more. In through the mouth. Just allowing the breath. It's so easy. Last one. Out the mouth. Good. Then in through the nose. Out through the nose. Just allowing. In the nose. out the nose. Great. Now we're going to go in through the mouth, out the nose. Allow your breath in through the mouth, out the nose. One more. Out the nose. This next one, you're going to allow the breath in the mouth and nose at the same time. It's kind of weird. Maybe you haven't done it yet. And out both ways. It's like have your mouth barely open. So some of the breath has to come in through the nose. That's it. And out. Last one. And out. Amazing. Let your breath continue however it wants from here. Who got the most breath by breathing in the nose, out the mouth? I would love to know. Okay, great. And who got the most breath from breathing in the mouth, out the mouth right now? Great. And then in the nose, out the nose. Cool. In the mouth, out the nose. Yes. Yeah. And then the last one that we did in both, of course. Great. So that's going to change. It's not like that's your breath, but it will change and between like what activities you're doing and what part of your system wants to be the most on. And it actually has to do with what we call your elemental code. Each breath corresponds with an element. And we all are made of all the elements. Yeah, that's something that like if you learn from indigenous cultures, you'll find out that they all will kind of say the same thing in different ways. They'll say we're made of the elements. That's one of the things they'll say. And what's true about that is that we're all the same, but we also have a unique code. And so these different breath patterns correspond with a different element, which corresponds with a different part of your brain and a different part of your physiology and different gifts that you have.
Maybe you're watching this and you're like, what is this? Like, what? But what's crazy is I've practiced this for over 20 years in different energy modalities, from cranial sacral therapy to Reiki to network care to genius frequency. And there's many different modalities of this. But it's like, why not introduce to business owners that maybe you're like, this is too woo-woo. And all of a sudden, so many people had one of the most experiences, like spiritual, connective experiences they've ever had. And so as we dynamically weave our events, whether it's a deep dive with our inner circle and our league members, and we take them all over the world, what's so beautiful is I always try to weave in the meditations, the breath works, the connections, because we are spiritual beings more than we are physical beings. And if you are trying to navigate life, you're only navigating towards disaster. The more and more you neglect mindfulness, the more and more you neglect your spiritual being. And if you're just physical and look at me in my workouts and look at me and my money, you're like too external, when we live life way more internal than we do externally. So if you're watching this video and you made it all the way this far, my challenge to you would be, how do you go reach out to a community of people that are like-minded that can support you in this journey of yours? Or maybe talk like this and you're like, wow, there's people that speak and do shit like this? Like, that's dope. So I'd highly recommend you schedule a call with us and see where you can maybe get more involved in the league. Maybe where you can actually have a supportive group that can help you maybe navigate some of these problems like addiction, betrayal, divorce, all the things that we all deal with as humans first, business second. And we're here to support you in all aspects of your life and creating a really balanced life, not just make more money. And that's what a lot of people think. They're like, door-to-door experts. I'm like, no, we're human experts. Like we're still journeying and learning just as much as you are. So hopefully you got a ton of value out of this, and we'd love to see you guys out in the next event and part of our community.